sense-enjoyment, agitated mind. Even Vishwamitra, a great sage and perfect yogi, was misled by Mika into sex enjoyment, although the yogi was the type of and practice, and of course there are similarities.
क्या हो रहा है? नहीं कर रहा है? Okay, so Vishwamitra, he was practicing austerities for a long time.
AUX mode.
There's no use speaking German and not being heard. That's the point. So he first fell prey to lust. Menaka sort of seduced him, and Shakuntala was born, and then she left, and so his penance was disturbed. Then there is also the instance of Rambha being sent to induce him away from his penances. So this time he was on guard.
AUX mode. Bluetooth mode. FM mode. AUX mode.
It promises more than it delivers. Up speaker ko mode. This mode, that mode, FM mode, radio mode. Better than up speaker ko mode. It's better. Yes, so Rambha tried to entice Vishwamitra, and this time he was so angry that he cursed her, she became stone. So the first time it was lust, second time it was anger. It is not like anger is a completely different emotion from lust. It is unfulfilled lust that becomes anger. Krishna will explain. In fact, we have already explained this in this chapter. So, actually we have not explained. We're going to explain. The next verse after next is that. So, even if you are a very, very practiced yogi who's doing great penances, it may not be easy for you to control your senses. So therefore, the definition of bhakti is given that Sarvopadi Vinirmuktam Tat Paratvena Nirmalam Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. You have to give up all kind of designations that are connected to the body. That I'm Indian, I'm American, I'm manager, I'm damager, I'm male, I'm female, all these are designations. Sarva Upadi Vinirmuktam, give up those upadis. And Tat Paratvena Nirmalam, therefore beyond this be situated in purity. Then what do you do? Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. Rishika means senses. So use your senses in service of the master of senses, Rishikesha. That's Krishna. Isha of the Rishika. Master of the senses. So you have an option on a Saturday evening to listen to who is the latest rock group that is doing well? Who knows? I'm out of touch. It's almost 20 years.
BTS of Korea.
BTS of Korea. They're very famous. Yeah. So you have an option of listening to BTS of Korea concert in the evening, or you can come for a Gita class at ISKCON Sector 45 in the evening. You have chosen to exercise your power of hearing in trying to hear the message of the Gita. That's your choice. It's good. Gurgaon population is what? About 1.5 crore. I keep getting into this. Nobody knows where it is. So we still don't have 0.00001% of that here, which will be 150. So the point is really that using your senses in service of the Lord of the senses. I have an option of shouting at people and abusing them and whatever else, using my power of speech. But if I try to engage my power of speech in glorifying the Lord, in explaining His message to everyone, then I'm utilizing my power of speech properly. Now, there are so many movies happening. Do we have PVR in Gurugram? Yes, we have.
Many.
So, how much is the ticket?
200 rupees minimum.
So, you have an option of spending say 200 rupees and then try and watch somebody else laugh, cry, get angry, bash up the villain, get married, and all that. And you have that option, or you can come to a temple and use your power of vision to look at the beautiful decorated forms of Sri Radha Gopinath and Gauravatara. And even if you can't see with these eyes, you can train your eyes to see them once. What we're doing is a process of training, culturing the eyes to see Krishna. Krishna has mercifully appeared in this form. It's a metallic form. It's His mercy. Because you and I cannot see Him with our contaminated material eyes. Therefore, Krishna has mercifully appeared in this form. It is not like Krishna's Vigraha. Krishna is Vigraha. It should be very clear. Pratimana hitumi sakhat brajendra nanda. It's not Pratima, it's not idol. It's Sakshat Brajendra Nanda. Krishna. Initially it may look like just faith. Honestly tell me, when you were just born, did you know that the person who was holding you is your mother? You just went through the motion, you had some faith, this person is taking care of me, whatever. Then you gradually developed a relationship. She said, Ai, Ma, Amma, whatever she would have told, and then, okay, Ma. And then you say, this is father, oh, this is father. Isn't it all faith right from the beginning? Who are we kidding? So relationships have to start with some amount of faith. Your teacher tells you 2 plus 2 in school. You don't ask for an algorithmic proof. Your kids ask you, teacher? They don't. You just say 2 plus 2 equal to 4. That's it. Then one day they may get into complex equations and they can prove actually 2 plus 2 equal to 4, or they can even prove 2 plus 2 equal to 5. You put an I somewhere there. So, that modicum of faith is required for us to engage ourselves in the service of the Supreme Lord. Using our senses to serve the Supreme Lord is called bhakti. Bhakti is not rocket science. Bhakti is using our senses to serve the Supreme Lord, who is the master of the senses. With your nose, you smell the beautiful flowers that are offered to Krishna. With your tongue, you taste beautiful Krishna prasadam, tasty Krishna prasadam. You use your power of speech to speak about the Supreme Lord. You use your power of hearing to hear Kirtan, Krishna Katha, or you discuss with devotees their problems in spiritual life and try and help them. You use your hands to clean the temple of the Lord. You use your legs to walk to the temple of the Lord. King Ambarish, Emperor Ambarish used to do that. Savai Manah Krishna Padara Vindayo Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunana Vandane. Using the mind, engage the mind at the lotus feet of the Lord. Savai Manah Krishna Padara Vindayo Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunana Vandane. Use the tongue to glorify the Supreme Lord. Karao Harao Mandira Marjanadishu. Use your hands to clean the temple. Shrutim Chakarach the Satkatode. Use the ear to hear about the Lord. Use, engage the sense of skin to embrace the devotees of the Lord. So, Krishna consciousness or Bhakti Yoga is not rocket science. It just means you engage your senses in service of the master of the senses. Go ahead, you read too. Don't keep the Gita on the floor. You can read from where she left. And of course, there are so many similar instances in the history of the world. So, it is the next line. Therefore, it is very difficult to क्या मिला नहीं?
Therefore, it is very difficult to control the mind and senses without being fully Krishna conscious. Without engaging the mind in Krishna, one cannot seize such material engagements. A practical example is given by Sri Yamunacharya, a great saint and devotee, who says,
यदवति मम चेता कृष्ण पादारविंदे नमनमरसदामन्युक्तम रत्नमासी तदवति वद नारी संगमे स्मर्यमाणे भवति मद्भविकार सृष्टि निश्चीवनं च सृष्टु निश्चीवनं च.
Since my mind has been engaged in the service of lotus feet of Lord Krishna, and I have been enjoying as ever new transcendental humor, whenever I think of sex life with a woman, my face at once turns from it, and I spit at the thought.
So this is said by King Kulashekara. He was a king. So the great devotee of Lord. He is writing these prayers. Yamunacharya, who was a king. He was a king. Ramanujacharya is his disciple, Shiksha disciple. Yamunacharya was the foremost Sri Vaishnava Acharya before Ramanuja. So, if your senses are trained to serve Krishna, then they would not serve anything inferior. You develop a higher taste. Would you be eating some food that is picked up from the garbage can? Will you do that? Why? You have a higher taste. But you send a pig, there will be feast for him. That's really the point. It requires some kind of refinement. Our senses have to be refined, they have to be cultured to learn to serve Krishna. Can you read the last paragraph? You can read the last paragraph.
Krishna consciousness is such a transcendent, nice thing that automatically material enjoyment becomes distasteful. It is as if a hungry man had satisfied his hunger by a sufficient quantity of nutritious eatables. Maharaja Ambarish also compared a great yogi, Durvasa Muni, simply because his mind was engaged in Krishna consciousness.
Savayamana Krishna Padara Vindayo Vachamsi Vaikunda Gunadavarane. Same shloka that I was talking about. Now, anybody knows the story of Ambarish Maharaj and Durvasa? Does any of you know the story of Ambarish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni?
Yes, if I'm not wrong, वो जो उनके यहाँ आए थे खाने के लिए, खाना नहीं था ऐसा कुछ।
That is the Pandavas. It's close enough. It was Ekadashi, yeah. Good. So that's the drift. Thank you. So Ambarish Maharaj was observing an Ekadashi Vrata for almost 1 year. Those was different. Those previous years things were different. And Ekadashi means proper Ekadashi means Nirjala. You don't take water also. So he was like that. And Durvasa Muni came and he said, I want to have prasadam. So said, please go bathe and come. So in the meantime, the time for breaking fast had already come, Parana. The Parana time had come. So then he consulted the Acharyas there, the Purohitas. They said that if you drink water, it is both considered as breaking fast and not breaking fast. So he did that. But when Durvasa Muni came to know about this, he was furious. So he created a Kritya, a demon, from his matted hair. And the demon was about to rush at Ambarish Maharaj and kill him. But Ambarish Maharaj was not scared. No fear. Fear is for those people who think they are the body. Those who are at a spiritual platform, they have no fear. So then what happened? At that time, because observing Ekadashi means is for the pleasure of Krishna. And all his life he has been trying to please Krishna, like it's mentioned here. Using his mind, he was meditating on the lotus feet of Krishna. With his eyes, he can go close by and have darshan. Prabhu, Prabhu. He doesn't understand Prabhu. Sir. Now he responds. Please have darshan, go close by. Our TDs are so small, you can't see. Go ahead. You have darshan properly. Majja. Family is holding back. He wants to go to Krishna. So, I remember there was a child in my house. When he came to know that I was going to the temple, he just said, don't go to the temple. So he looked very filmy. So I said, no, I have to go. So, then what happened was that because he was doing it for the pleasure of Krishna, Ekadashi was done for the pleasure of Krishna. Madhava Titi Bhakati Janani Jotane Palana Kori. Madhava Titi, Ekadashi is meant for the pleasure of Krishna. You observe Ekadashi for the pleasure of Krishna. You offer the results to your spiritual authorities of Krishna. That's what you do. So, Ambarish Maharaj did not respond to the fury of Durvasa Muni, but Krishna responded because his devotee was being mistreated. So Sudarshana Chakra came and it started chasing Durvasa all over the universe. He was a mystic yogi, he could reach up to Vaikuntha. He fell at the lotus feet of the Lord and said, please save me, please relieve me from this intense heat. Sudarshana is the most ferocious weapon in the universe. Sudarshanaya vidmahe mahajwalaya dhimhi tannas chakra prachodaya. Mahajwala, it is so effulgent, blazing effulgence. So, Krishna told him, Aham bhakta paradina, I am subservient to my disciples. Sadhunam hridayam mahyam. In my heart are the sadhus and the sadhu's heart is me. So, bad luck. I can't do anything. You have to go to Durvasa to sort this out. So you got to go to Ambarish to sort this out. So then Durvasa Muni went to Ambarish Maharaj and begged forgiveness, and that's how it happened. Ambarish is a Kshatriya who is a king. Durvasa is a Brahmana who is a mystic yogi. But who did Krishna favor? Because he was a devotee of the Lord. So it doesn't matter what kula, what dharma you're following, what jati you have, what gender you have. It is how devoted you are to Krishna that matters. And so that what it means is that the senses get purified by engaging them in service of the Lord of the senses. Now we go to the next verse, and please understand. Anybody knows how to make a musical noise with this mimicry? Like one big announcement kind of noise? This is a little mild. Somebody can make a big noise? Any good mimic here, or all very civilized people? No? Something like ta-da, 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 is the music. Why? Because this is the first time in the Bhagavad Gita Krishna is personally directing Arjuna to him as the ultimate destination. Repeat after me. Tani sarvani samyamya yukta asita matparaha vashehi yasyendriyani tasya prajna pratishtita. You can read the translation, somebody can read the translation.
One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control.
No, wait. You read the translation. Verse number 61. Oh, you read. Go ahead.
One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control, and
Thank you. You know, at the very bottom is inert matter, like this table, dull table. In 3rd chapter you will learn this. This is dull table. Above this inert matter is the senses. Because using the senses you can perceive this dull matter. But the information that is gathered by the senses, where is it stored? In the mind. And the information that we can come closer and have darshan, do not be so far. Hare Krishna. Bhagavan se zyada dur mat jaiye. So, the information that is gathered by the senses is stored in the mind, and this information that is stored in the mind is decoded, good, bad, or otherwise, by what faculty? By the intelligence. And above this intelligence is you and me, spirit souls, which are symptomatized by consciousness. Is mentioned here. Fixes his consciousness upon me. What is the difference between a dead body and a live body? What is the difference? It's a difficult question. Huh?
Soul is there in the live body. Soul is there in the live body.
Yeah, but how do we know the soul is there?
Movement is the senses. That body is not having any movement. Where is the live body? There is a lot of movement.
That is the only way, that's the only reason.
That I know.
So, what else?
The senses.
Senses? The senses are there even otherwise, even in dead body. Why are they not active?
In live body.
Yeah, but why are they not active in the live body? Sorry, dead body. Sorry?
The spiritual spark is not there.
Yeah, so how do we know the spiritual spark is there? What is the symptom of the spiritual spark? You shouldn't say, man, you're an initiated Brahmana, you're new people. You don't get any additional marks for this. You get negative marks for taking away other people's opportunity. So consciousness, the symptom of a spirit soul is consciousness. That is what is mentioned here. So it is not just movement. It's not just senses. There is a consciousness. The senses or the movements happen because there is an active principle which is the spiritual spark, which is called the soul, Ruh, Atma, Jiva, Brahma, anything. So you read the first paragraph. Who wants to read? You read. Yeah.
That the highest conception of yoga perfection is Krishna consciousness is clearly explained in this verse. And unless one is Krishna conscious, it is not at all possible to control the senses. As cited above, the great sage Durvasa Muni picked a quarrel with Maharaj Abhish, and Durvasa Muni unnecessarily became angry out of pride and therefore could not check his senses. On the other hand, the king, although not as powerful as a yogi,
Not
not
powerful,
as
a
powerful
yogi.
a yogi as the sage, but a devotee of the Lord, silently tolerated all the sage's injustices and thereby emerged victorious. The king was able to control his senses because of the following qualifications as mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavad.
Canto 9, chapter 4, verses 18 to 20. Can I read the Sanskrit? Can I read the Sanskrit? No. Okay. Savai mana Krishna padara vindayor vajam Vaikuntha gulanuvarnane Tarau harer mandira marjanadishu Shrutim chakara achyuta sattatodaye Mukunda lingalaya darshane drisho tadbritya gatra sparshenga sangamam Granam chatatpada saroja saurabhe Srimat kulasya rasanam tadarpite Pado hare kshetra padanu sarpane Shiro rishikesha padabhivandane Kamam chadasye natu kama kamyaya Yathottama shloka janashrayarati. So this is what we discussed earlier. It's just mentioned in Sanskrit now. Okay, I forgot one thing. What's your name? You told me last time, I just forgot. What's your name?
My name is Jyoti Misra.
Jyoti. Yeah, we met the other day.
Yes.
Outside also. Jyoti. What's your name? Jyoti and Jyotsna. Okay. What's your name, mother?
I'm Tuhina. Tuhina.
How do you spell that?
Tuhina.
Oh, okay. If I say that, it will look very disrespectful. I should say Aapina. I should not say Tuhina. What's your name, mother? Prajna. Okay. Ideally, it should be Prajna. But in English, it becomes Prajna. So I'm just trying to see. I don't like being very impersonal with my class. So whoever speaks, what's your name?
Ashish.
Okay. So, you read the translation, Ashish. Okay. No, you read it. You read it. You started reading. I don't disturb. What's your name, Prabhu?
Fully.
Yeah, I think we met.
King Abrisha fixed his mind on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, engaged his words in describing the abode of the Lord. His
You
hand-
must be an IT, huh? Are you an IT? That's why you read abode as a dove.
Sorry. Abode of the Lord, his hands in cleansing the temple of the Lord, his ears in hearing the pastimes of the Lord, his eyes is in seeing the form of the Lord, his body in touching the body of the devotee, the nostrils in smelling the flavor of the flowers offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, his tongue is tasting the tulasi leaves offered,
No, he says his tongue in tasting. We're basically engaging him.
tongue in tasting the tulasi leaves offered to him, his legs in traveling to the holy place where his temple is situated, his head is offering
His
obeisance,
head in offering.
in
Is what's up.
offering obeisances
I can't blame him. This is a generation that has stopped reading, so it will take time.
unto the Lord, and his desires in fulfilling the desires of the Lord, and all the qualifications made him fit to become a
Matpara. That is the point. Krishna says, Yukta Asita Matpara. Matpara means unto me. Krishna, for the first time in the Bhagavad Gita, telling Arjuna that please engage all your senses and control them by engaging them in my service, Arjuna. Krishna is telling him. So that's why the music we gave. First time Krishna is giving himself as an object of devotion. And Prabhupada is mentioning the purport here, the way Ambarish Maharaj was dealing with, no, not Durvasana, dealing with his life as a king. Despite being so busy, the emperor of the universe, he used to engage each of his senses in service of the Lord. And that is called a symptom of a Matpara devotee. The Matpara devotee is also called by another name. What is that name? Arjuna has asked a question to Krishna. Krishna is answering that question. These are all answers to that question. What is another name for a Matpara? Is there in the shloka itself?
Connection.
Read the shloka, don't do tukka. Kaunteya is son of Kunti. But I am asking what is another word for a Matpara devotee.
Pratishtita.
पढ़ो ना थोड़ा मेहनत लगाओ. Total 10 word you keep guessing one by one, finally you will reach. But use your intelligence and look for the word.
Samam.
In relationship.
Can anybody hit him on my behalf?
In relationship.
Please apply your intelligence, mothers. Huh?
Pragna.
If anybody else had said this, I would have forgiven them. That's a senior devotee. Sthita prajna. That is the word. Prajna. Sthita prajna. Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha. Arjuna asks, how does a sthita prajna sit? How does he walk? How does he talk? How does he be? Krishna is answering those questions through this. Who is a sthita prajna? This is an example of a sthita prajna. Who is a sthita prajna? He is so fixed that his senses will not meditate on anything other than Krishna. That is his Sthita Praja. Somebody says, he's very peaceful. That is external. Inside there is an ocean going on. You're peaceful. It's a line that we used to use in youth preaching long back, 15, 20 years back. We used to preach in colleges. It's a standard line. I use this when I go to Muslim conferences, Christian conferences, etc. also. Just say, this is like this, repeat after me. No God,
No God,
no peace.
no peace.
No God,
No God,
no peace.
no peace.
Did you understand? What is the first no? What is the spelling? No. Second no? That's the point. So if there is no Krishna, it is hollow. Yasmin vijnate sarvam etat vijnatam bhavati. You know Krishna, you know everything. You don't need to separately know other things. And that is what is mentioned here. Everything else is a waste of time. So you read, therefore, the definition of the word matpara. Ashish, you read.
The word matpara is most important in this connection.
Significant.
Significant.
How can you read significant as important?
Most significant in this connection. How one can become matpara is described in the life of Maharaja Ambrisha, Srila Baldeva
Vidyabhushana.
Bhushana, a great scholar and acharya in the line of matpara, remarks
Madbhakti prabhavena sarvendra vijaya purvika swatma buddhi sulabhena.
the senses can be completely controlled only by the strength of devotional.
Read that English line again, loudly.
The senses can be completely controlled only by the strength of devotional.
Okay,
service.
on a count of 3, let us all read this together. 1, 2, 3. The senses can be completely controlled only by the strength of devotional service to Krishna.
Also, the example of
Very
fire
important.
is sometimes given as a blazing fire burns everything within a room. Lord Vishnu, situated in the heart of the yogi, burns up all kind of impurities. The Yoga Sutra also prescribes meditation on Vishnu and not meditation on the body.
So people sometimes they say that they are doing meditation. Sometimes they come to the temple, they close their eyes and sit like this. The Lord is standing right before them. They are closing their eyes before the Lord. You can't even see Him in front of you, and you will see Him inside your heart. I have given this story a few times in these classes itself. Some 20 years back, I was serving in Nagpur temple, ISKCON. I used to work outside, but I used to serve in the temple also. So, there was one Mataji who came during darshan time. The darshan in ISKCON is 7:15 normally. 7:15 a.m. early morning. Of course, first darshan is 4:30, but 7:15. So she came, and by chance that day the pujaris were wanting to dress up the Lord in a different mood. So the darshan was delayed. So when I was standing there, this Mataji came and she said that, what time is darshan? So then I just said 7:50. But it's a little late, so you can stay back a little. कोई बात नहीं, भगवान तो सब जगह है. She stood there, closed her eyes, meditated, and then they waited. ऐसे भगवान सब जगह है तो मंदिर में भी है ना? It's not like he disappears from the rest of the world because he's there in the temple or otherwise. Or it's not just because he's there in the temple, he's not there in the rest of the world. Both don't matter. When both are different. Krishna is so merciful that is present in the temple. Srila Prabhupada gives the example that if you put all your letters in a post box or a normal box, where will it reach the destination? Where do you have to put the letter so that it reaches the right destination?
Post box.
So you can see the Lord everywhere, but the most bona fide location where you can actually serve the Lord is the temple. Like there is water vapor everywhere, just, what is it called? Just condense it and take it as water. What's the need? There are TV signals everywhere. Don't you need a TV set? So similarly, to surcharge our consciousness in the association of devotees, we come to the temple. And when we come to the temple and engage our senses in the service of the Lord, our senses are controlled. Here, Baldev Vidyabhushan, a great Acharya, he is quoted here. By the way, you open your Gita, copy, page 2 or 3.
After introduction.
Look at the page number if you can tell.
Dedicated.
Just before the contents page, which is page 8. So page 7 Roman numerals in your book. Did everyone find that? Contents page is page 8 in Roman numerals. Just before that is page 7 in Roman numerals. Is fine? Anyway, whenever you find. Yeah. What is it written there? What? That's all is written? Why are you so soft? Read loudly.
Srila Balodeva Vidyabhusna, who presented so nicely the Govinda Bhasya commentary on Vedanta philosophy.
So that is a great Acharya, Baladev Vidyabhusna. And his quotation is given in this particular purport. Madbhakti prabhavena sarvendra vijay puryoga swatma buddhi sulabhedi bhavaha. Just means what? By performing my devotion, Krishna says, you will be able to control your senses and purify them. And you will be situated in your natural spiritual position. Sulabhedi bhavaha. In other words, devotional service to the Supreme Lord is the most appropriate way to be well situated. Because we are spirit souls, we should be in a spiritual position. And that comes by worshipping the Lord. Now we come to the next two words. Jai Shri Radha Gopinath Ki Jai. So, now I will read the next two shlokas. We can read the entire translation and purport, and I will give the explanation, whatever little today. Rest of the explanation I will give in the next session, because I would like you all to complete the class on time, have prasadam on time, go home on time, and get up late on time tomorrow being Sunday. No, get up early and read the Gita. Sunday. Okay, repeat after me, very important shloka. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha.
Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha.
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 Sangasteshu pajayate.
Sangasteshu pajayate.
Sangat sanjayate kamaha.
Sangat sanjayate kamaha.
Kamat krodho bhijayate.
Kamat krodho vijayate.
Verse 62. No, this is verse 63. Krodhat bhavati sammohaha.
Krodhat bhavati sammoha.
Sammoha smriti vibhramaha.
Sammoha smriti vibhramaha.
Smriti bhramshat buddhinasho.
Smriti bhramshat buddhinasho.
Buddhinashat pranashyati.
Buddhinashat pranashyati.
So read the translation. Somebody else can read it. You read the translation. Arun Pro.
While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them.
While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment towards them. Suppose I am seeing a billboard on the street, driving on a car, immediately I have an attachment. I look at the billboard. Dhyayato vishayan. Vishayan means sense object. Like Sight is object for the sense of eyes. Sound is object. Sit down, in 15 minutes darshan will open. It is not a sin to hear the Bhagavad Gita. Sangat sanjayate kama. When you develop attachment to the billboard, then you develop desire. So suppose there is a car, maybe Suzuki Desire. So you see the billboard first, suddenly you see the billboard. You have a small Alto, and then you see the billboard. You screech to a halt and you see, Sangat sanjayate kama. Kama means lust. Lust doesn't necessarily just mean carnal lust. Lust means atmendriya priti vacha tarebalikam. Any desire meant for gratifying our own senses. Atmendriya priti. That is called kama or lust. Krishnendriya priti cha dhare premanam. Love means to try and please the senses of Krishna. Lust means to try and please one's own senses. So this lust comes from attachment. When we meditate on the objects of the senses, nice billboard. What is that? Oh, nice car. Which car? Desire. And then my desire is aroused. And then what happens? Sanjayate kama. Kama krodho vijayate. What nonsense. My company is paying me 50,000 less than what I have to pay. The mortgage for this car is so expensive. I can't afford this car. Baad mein jaye se naukri. Yes. So that is krodha. Kama krodho vijayate. Then after that, you become completely bewildered. Krodha bhavati samoha. Anyway, no, I have to do this. So then you go quickly, let's play rummy on mobile. Make some extra money. Krodha bhavati samoha. Samoha smriti viprama. You lose all your memory. You don't know how much you are paying, how much you are playing, how much you are paying. You forget that. Smriti pramsha buddhinasho. Your whole intelligence is lost. Buddhinasha pranashyati. It's complete destruction after that. But please don't think that this will not happen to you. For everybody, there is some enticement. For some it is wealth, for some it is opposite gender, for some it is power, for some it is influence, for some it is peace of mind. Baad mein jaye sari dunya, I will go to Himalaya. So that's from the way it is. Prahlad Maharaj says, I have no respect for those people who retire to the jungles without preaching the message of the Lord. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, the guru of Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, used to say that the temple should be located in the heart of urban mainland so that more people can connect. So, let us read the purport. You can start. Give him. Those and
one who is not Krishna conscious is subjected to material desire by
contemplating the objects of the senses.
The objects of the sense require real engagements, and if they are not engaged in the
Transcendental.
loving service of the Lord, they will certainly seek engagement in the service of materialism.
And yet, materialism. So, the senses are by default active. They are always agitated. If you don't engage them in something constructive, they will engage in something destructive. But the senses are by nature active as long as a man is in the human body. So the point is, the senses have to be busy anyway. How do we keep them busy? How do we engage them? How? Why is there no confidence after hearing 25 minutes of the same topic? Yeah, engage this senses in service of Krishna, who is the master of the senses. Which you are doing, you are engaging the sense of ears. You are engaging the sense of eyes also by reading the Bhagavad Gita, by chanting it, by speaking the message of the Gita. By sitting in a temple, you are engaging your touch, sense of touch also in Krishna service. But after this you will take prasadam, that way you are going to engage your sense of taste also. So Bhakti Yoga is not rocket science. Bhakti Yoga is engaging one's senses in the service of the Supreme. Now somebody else can read next one. In the material world, everyone can read. Rishi.
In the material world, everyone, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, to say nothing of the other demigods in heavenly planets, is subjected to the influence of sense objects. And the only method to get out of this puzzle of material existence is to become Krishna conscious. Lord Shiva was deep in meditation, but when Parvati instated him for such pleasure, he agreed to the proposal, and as a result, Kartikeya was born.
You can read now. You raised your hand. I don't want you to miss out.
When Harina's Thakur was in the body of the Lord, he was similarly affected by the incarnation of Maya Devi. But Harina's easily passed the test because of his underlying devotion to Lord Krishna. As illustrated in the above-mentioned verse of Shri Yamnacharya, the sincere devotee of the Lord shuns all material enjoyment into his high taste.
Material sense enjoyment.